Neil, I'm a home over here in the Philippines. Ah, okay. You purchased a home in 2021. Yeah. Well, you purchased a home. Well, of course, your name is not on it, I guess, unless you got a condo, Neil. Your name can't be on it unless you got a condo. You mean your lady or whoever you got as your Filipino friend here, their name is on it. But I know what you're saying when you purchase your home. Same thing, similar situation would be with me, except mine was in 2024 when I came back. So I've been in this house, which I'm broadcasting from, about 15 months. Yeah, back and forth. Go back to America. Yeah, go back to America. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do. Yeah. Geechee, this is my dear Lilibeth. Geechee, I have a friend send me an iPhone 17 Pro Max. The customs ass tax 120,000 pesos. That is ridiculous. He would have done, of course, I don't care. He's a grown man or grown woman, whoever it was. Do whatever you want to do. It ain't hurting me whatsoever. What I would have suggested, though, is for them to send you the money, Lily, and let you go to SM Mall or Yala and buy the damn phone here in the Philippines yourself. Why the hell would they send you a phone? But you know what? God bless them in the name of Jesus. I ain't getting into that. Okay? I'm not getting into that. Harana, baby. Yeah, that's serenading. I did it. And you all are going to be seeing, I'm going to put those videos out. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it between 9 Valentine's Day. I'm going to put my Harana videos out that I did for Filipino P. You will see them exclusively on my Geechee Line music channel. And actually, Filipino P was the only woman in history, after being alive over 60 years, who said she would be my Valentine. Filipina P is the only woman, only female ever to accept and say that she would be my Valentine. That's just a historic note again about my exchange with her. And like I say, I'm not going too far down the rabbit hole with that, but I'm not through with Filipina P yet. There's still some unresolved issues. There's some things out there, and I've already, if she read the comment, I commented to her on her post. 2026, I'm going to have closure one way or another with Filipina P and that whole thing. The second part of the ministry is coming out this year. Ministry album part 2 is coming out this year. It's already half done. You're going to hear the vocal stylings of Marta Garrett, who you heard earlier. She's going to be on the album with at least 3 cuts. I think I'm going to have 7 cuts on there altogether. So look forward to that. Neil, you bought 2 iPhone 17s. Yeah, you don't have to pay the taxes. Yeah, you bring them in person. They don't know, huh? You can have $1 million phone, personally autographed by James Bond himself. They don't know how much this doggone thing can be worth solid gold. On Goldfinger or something. They don't know what it is. You bring it personally. But that was kind of a dumbass move to ship it and then be stupid enough to tell the customs or whoever that you shipped that, yeah, they taxed your ass. You needed to be taxed with your dumb ass. Okay. Yeah, Geechee. Yeah, buddy. Topics for Dear Lily. Oh, Lord. Dear Lily, should a Western man trust local or prominent women how to transition from the West to the East and the realities of being in another foreign country. Yeah, I can deal with that. I'm going to deal with that subject as well. And just so you know, Dear Lily is a province woman. I actually visited her hometown in Negros. I think it's called Barangay Tapi. So I actually met people who personally knew Lilibeth. I didn't know I was going to meet them, but I did. So they actually knew her personally in her hometown. So I could say Lily, I would say she's the Proverbs woman. And I would say based on her dealings with my brother Frank, you can definitely trust a province woman. I think the province woman, and I met some. They have some beautiful qualities about them that I've seen. Again, these are scenes qualities that I've not seen much of in America. Oh man, province women, oh something else. I tell you. Just being around them as much as I have, and I was around some last week as I went to a family reunion to the province. The stark difference is when I'm in America, I have to worry about who am I going to have to kill today, or who's going to try to kill me, who I'm going to have to hurt today, who is going to try to hurt me, what asshole what attitude, what am I going to have to deal with today, what bullshit am I going to have to put up with in America. Man, in the Philippines, total opposite. The men are friendly. They are polite. They respect the children. Respectful. And I'm going to tell you, the high percentage of these women here, I want to make love to them. Okay? Let's put it like that. I want to make love to these Filipinos over here. Versus in America, you trying to shield yourself from the hate. Okay? How to transition from the West to the East. Yeah, I can certainly talk about that. And I already have talked about that. Yeah. So, like Neil said, yeah. Link, no, you have the best, whatever that means. But every woman, yeah, don't trust them blindly. Do your due diligence, most definitely. Yeah, the ones, and the one I'm dealing with, she has earned my trust, and all of that. Definitely do your due diligence on anybody. Yes, Lilibeth, thank you. I know that better than you do. That she's happy now as a married person. She told me she was getting married probably before she told you, honey. I saw Sharon personally, and she told me I met her and Andy in person at the wedding that I sang at. So I knew all about that. Yeah, I've seen her and Andy a couple times. Yeah, I know she's happy now, but when I first met her, she was not dealing with Andy, okay? Andy came later on in the conversation. When I first met Sharon, she was not dealing with Andy then. I don't know what he was trying to get with her or what, but Andy was not even in the picture. Thank you very much. Yeah, just trust your instincts on women. Well, that depends on what type of person you are. Depending on the type of person you are, you shouldn't trust your instincts. One thing that I always found is good, if you can make some friends and make some friendly acquaintances who want to look out for you, and have your best interests at heart, and they've demonstrated that through the things they've done and said. That is a very good thing, good deal whether they be male or female, whatever the age is. If it's somebody, somebody like that who is looking out for you, that can be a great help. Neil, yes. Yeah, of course. I know you married or something like it for you to have a house. Um, yeah, there's definitely benefits of being married to a Filipino. And man, Filipino, I'm just telling you, just the average Filipino woman, I just tell you, the spirit is there. I want to make love to you. I want to make love to you. I want to kiss you. I want to hug you. All that stuff. I mean, they are just adorable, most of them. Every now and then you get one that, you know, they may not be feeling you like that, but for the most part, they're at least respectful. And even if they kind of turn you down somewhat, they do it in a sweet, more gentle, caring, compassionate way, such as versus the bitch mode that you're going to get mostly in America. Is mostly what you're going to get there. And like I said, I'm glad to be away from them. I don't give a damn about them, and even stronger. The only way I care about these women there is if they buy my music. You buy my music, you paying for my music, cool. Other than that, on a personal level, I ain't studying you. Maybe you in my family or something, I'm dealing with you. But the average American woman in the run of the mill, no, I don't want nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Nice topics, Link noted. Yeah, I'm noting them myself and gonna deal with it. Thanks for y'all engagement tonight. I appreciate it. Questions for I guess Brother Lion. When I met the True Girls, yeah, they were nice enough to have me on their show. I guess I was glad to rate highly enough for them to have me. Which one would I marry? Well, I didn't get to know them, get into them like that. I would imagine, because I faintly remember them. Well, Jimmy. I mean, she's something else physically. I probably would have leaned toward one who was single and didn't have children. Now, I think a couple of those ladies had children. So if you can refresh my memory, Link, which one of the four had children? I'm pretty sure Jimmy did, but who didn't have children? And then I could probably picture or go look at those. But definitely, at that time, I would have been certainly gravitating towards someone who didn't have children. Definitely. Appreciate it, Link. I guess you respond to something he said. Harana has a deeper meaning to it over singing to a panay. Yes, I understand about that. And what the hell do you think why I call it Harana? I was trying to deal with Filipina P now. That wasn't no bullshit. I was trying to deal with her. Okay? That was out. If I'd had the opportunity to properly court her, I would have done it. No question in my mind. Okay? No question. So you talking about it has a deeper meaning? I was deep. I was deep in it. And I deeply the fuck meant what I did and said. Yeah, I think Jim because she moved to Bahal. Yeah, I don't remember one of them. I know a couple of them had children though. So, like I said, I probably wouldn't have leaned toward that. No, Link, I'm saying you got to tell me. There's a couple of them I believe that weren't married. I think it was one of them that it was kind of nerdy. She wore more glasses. Forgot the name. I don't know if that was Cheryl or Clara. I think that was one I kind of liked. But again, refresh my memory, which one of them did not have children? All of them are fine. I got to deal with all four of them. No problem. Uh, you know, but y'all got to, again, Neil, it don't make a person a dumbass if they don't know the rules to the country. They just don't know. But in the Nation of Islam, we had a saying, mistakes shall not exist in the Nation of Islam. It didn't say mistakes shall not happen. It said they shall not exist. So if somebody is interested enough in the country, then they should make it their business to learn and know, like I did for the couple of years before I set foot over here. I read, I listened to the vloggers, especially Calvin, but also Rike, Old Dog, others, of course, P. So I was wired up on a lot of what goes on over here before I got here. Yes, Geechee, whatever that Geechee, but yes. Yes, Geechee. You'll invite me to your hometown. Yes, I want to see you. You talking about Barangay, Barangay that you from. Absolutely. Yeah. Be in touch with me. Let me know when you going back there because I'm planning on going back there because my lady friend's family is from there. So that's like I said, that's how I knew you from there. Oh yeah, Barangay. Yeah, I definitely plan on going back there. So if I know that you and Frank are planning to go back there, I will adjust my travel plans to meet you in Negros. Absolutely, because that's a place I want to go back to. No question, Lily. Question for Lion and the Amazing Lily. She is amazing too. When an older Western man meet or see a younger province Penai, are the parents open to this or closed to it? And would it matter what race he is and does money rule? I would say money may rule to an extent. I would say the attitude, the personality that goes along with the money is just as important or more so with the person who has the money. And we're presuming here that the foreigner, because that's what we're talking about, that the foreigner has more money and more financial resource than the average Filipino, especially in the province. And I noticed that you particularly pointed out a province Panay, I guess, versus the city Panay. That would depend on the people personally. Now I know that I believe I was received very well when I went to the province, even in Negros, and also the province here in Mindanao, also in Tacloban. I think I was received well by the general public there. So I believe if I was able to have the privilege of courting a young lady there, whatever, I believe I was well received. And you see, I'm black, and I can see me being black. I have not found being black to be a problem here. I can say that. And believe me, coming from Chicago, which is Ku Klux Klan headquarters, I know about racism, discrimination, and hostility towards brown-skinned people such as I. But one thing I will say this that I can tell you, I'll tell you, I love Filipinos in general, but I have a special love for the Morena women over here. That brown skin, they're Filipino, but they my skin color or close to my skin color. Some of it even darker than I am. Man, they have to be the most beautiful women. Just physically attractive in the world. Well, I know these men, and I'm going to say it, especially these white men, is probably batshit crazy about these brown skinned Morena Filipinos over here. I don't know what they think. They probably don't have that same regard for the soul sisters over there in America. But I tell you what, man, over I get it. I mean, these ones over here, I mean, they have a special attraction. The brown skins over here. Yeah, love, love, Lily. Love, love to you, Frank. Yeah, Filipinos, age don't matter. It's important that daughter treat respect and dignity. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've always been well received by Filipinos here in the province and even in the city. So hey, I'm 66. I'm black. I haven't had that problem. And the women, few women that I've interacted with, I treated them with respect and dignity. And I tell you, they received the best love that I could give them. The full spectrum. I'm gonna be doing inshallah a vlog about the full spectrum of love. I want to talk about the power of love now, just like my father, Isaac Hayes. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting into that. Question for Lily and Lion. This is be taken seriously. In the Philippines, it's a religious country, yes, regardless of things there. Heavily Catholic, heavily Christian. So should a man not touch them unless God points him to be his wife? Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you. Some human being pronouncing somebody as your wife don't mean a goddamn thing. It doesn't. I've seen people who didn't have that piece of paper, who didn't go through that legal court or proceeding, stayed together. My stepfather was with my mother for over 40 years. They were together. They never got the formal marriage or whatever. They were together over 40 years. She divorced my dad. They were divorced. I think they were officially married maybe 10 years, then they got divorced. But she was with my stepfather for over 40 years. I want to say he passed about 10 years ago. I'm 66, so that means I was 56. He might have came in. Yeah. So that don't mean anything. And a lot of these people that they get married to somebody, that does not mean that was really meant to be their wife. I mean, I ain't gonna go into the weeds on that. I can talk about it on the vlog, but just because somebody gets a piece of paper, that really does not mean they're your wife. Some people hook up with people that they should never have no dealings with. That's really wasn't their true wife, I think, whether you want to bring God's name into it or not. That don't mean anything. And then what does it mean? What does this mean to be a wife? You know, what does it mean to be a husband? I think it's more than just a piece of paper. I think it's in not only in just emotions or feelings, but how the two people are interacting with each other, where you can really see what the true dynamics and contents and aspects of that marriage really is and what you really got. Or suffer God's judgment. You know what? I'm not even going into the weeds on that. Again, like I told you, there's some people who got the formal piece of paper who shouldn't have never got married. Really, in the eyes of God or the devil or whoever. That's just a piece of paper, don't mean a damn thing. I've been around long enough to know that. I say this because we not respect. Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, I respect God. Respect God. Absolutely. Been a religious or a spiritual person all my life. Studied several different quote unquote teachings, cause mostly Muslim, Church of Christ, Jehovah's Witness, Baptist, several. Don't nobody respect God more than I have. I do. I would like to say that. But I'm not arrogant about it, boastful. I know I'm not perfect. But like I said, I done been through some shit. A lot of trauma. I still wrestle with, my interaction with God and what He has allowed to happen to me and against me over my life. My main line with Him is just as Christ said on the cross, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? I felt like most of my life I've been on the cross, and that's been my sentiments. Not gonna go off into the weeds on that, but again, that's a personal thing. How you deal with God and that whole thing. And then that's right, Lily. Nuns and priests don't necessarily follow everything God commands. So, and that's an unnatural. Being a nun and a priest, that is unnatural. Celibacy is not natural. That is a choice, but that is not natural for a man to not want to be with a woman and vice versa. I'm going to tell you, I extremely want to be with a woman, to touch a woman, feel a woman, taste a woman. I'm a what you would call a flaming heterosexual. Always have been. Problem is, I haven't been able to really exercise that with a real live woman. So that's why I've got I do a lot of trauma from that. But I tell you, the cure that ails me is the Philippines. Philippines, these women are just what I ordered, what I needed all my life. Love is here. Filipinos know how to love. Love, at least they know how to love me. I can't. America wasn't shit. Fuck America. Damn America. Philippines is for me. The love is here. And they have demonstrated here. I've received more love and loving within the first 3 months that I was here in the Philippines versus 6 months, 8 months, 10 years in America. Okay? So can't nobody say nothing about it. The Filipinos got it. They definitely got it in my book. Open topic. For dearest Lillian and Brother Lion, how do we get the Panay away from the illusions of movie actors they see on movies of sports superstars? These things create horrible illusions. You would have to be more specific about what you're talking about. Obviously, there's some stereotypes out there about maybe the thug or the thief or stuff like that. What illusions, what movie actors to be specific, you would have to expound on that. And thank y'all. Give me plenty to comment on tonight. Thank you all. This is probably the best live stream I've had. Lillian, I hear you, but God watches a man's heart. And if we know it's wrong but do it anyways, then punishment is worse. How can a man back away from the beginning, the tempting of beauty and fall into lust? Real question. You know what? Again, what is love? Don't hurt me no more. What is lust? What does that really mean? What does it mean to be tempted by beauty? You could just be an admirer or an observer, an appreciator, aficionado of certain beauty. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you've fallen into lust, anything evil, I don't think. Like I say, I love women, and I haven't seen a woman's naked body much in my life. But I can tell you that the few times that I have seen, I like women. I like see naked women, their bodies and everything in general. I remember when I was in college, one of my favorite painters was, I forgot his name. It'll come to me. Gauguin, I believe his name is Gauguin. He was an artist who did a lot of paintings because he spent time in Tahiti. So a lot of his subjects were bare-breasted women. And I was fascinated by that. Maybe that was the way I like Gauguin so much. But yeah, I tell you, I consider women's bodies to be works of art. I like their form. I'm naturally attracted to their form. Yes, I like breasts. I like the bottom. I like like legs. I like certain lips. Certain facial features. The long hair. I like the long hair of the Filipino. A lot of stuff I like. Um, I would say I'm more of an appreciator of beauty in that area, and not necessarily lusting after anyone or thinking any sex has to be involved. And I can tell you, as far as my dealing with women, there hasn't been a whole lot of sex. So, if I had lust or desire for them, I had to suffer on that cross. And as far as just a note on Filipinos, most of my interacting with them have been non-sexual. They've been non-sexual. I dealt with them, on the job and developed, some friendly interactions and stuff like that. But for the most part, it wasn't sexual. Matter of fact, it was as far as Filipinos, you can virtually say it was no sex didn't even enter the equation until I got to the Philippines. And man, I just wish I was here earlier at a younger years when I had more, more capacity to really fully engage, with a woman if you want to meet, if you know what I mean. Uh, Link, are you talking to me? I don't know. Y'all sort that out. Yeah, Link, ask yourself first before I answer your question. Yeah, that's always the thing. Yeah, ask yourself your question first, get your own, and then that's something you can share in the chat what your perspective is, and then somebody can respond to that. Yeah, living for you on whatever the question was. I think if I see it, I've answered it. And it's Lily, and it's not Lillian. She uses Lily for short, but it's Liliveth, not Lillian. There's a difference. I have an aunt, Lily Mae. She's not even Lillian. She's Lily Mae. This is Liliveth. Difference. Get that straight. Get my name right. You just reminded me of something. Yeah. Yeah. So let me make a note of that. Shoot, let me put that in the chat. Get my name right. Get my name right. My name ain't Jody, but my name is Brown. Imperial Brown. Get my name right. God damn it. Link. Study the Bible more respectively. Yeah, you should do that and take note of it. Like I said, I came up in a family of preachers. Both of my grandparents were preachers, ministers. My aunt was a bishop. She was the pastor of a church for 40 some years till she passed. She was a Geechee as well, so that's how I knew about that. But I grew up, so I've heard a lot about the Bible. My grandparents, my cousins, my brothers, even ministers. So I know about it. How about Luzon? Yes, I plan on coming to see y'all in Manila. Now, I was going to meet my Filipino friend up in Kalinga province, which is in Luzon. Hopefully, I get to see her when she comes back this year. She was up there, but I wasn't. I told you, I didn't leave Davao City at all last year. Well, she comes back this year. I definitely plan on coming, want to go up to Luzon. Oh, let me say that about Luzon. Newsflash. One of the places I'm planning to go within the next And anybody listening who's listened to this broadcast, I'm planning to go to Baguio this month or next month. I'm going to Baguio, inshallah. Baguio. So that's on Luzon. So look for me in Baguio, doing it up and being on the case, as well as to come to see Lilibeth and Frank in Manila. Yeah. Yeah, get my name right. Yeah, that's right. Get the name. Yeah, I don't play that. I had a bunch of problem with that because I changed my name to Anwar Kente, Anwar Bilal Kente. People murdered my name Anwar, and a lot of times most people call me Kente because it's easier to say. But like I say, get my name. I had to deal with that for 40. I'm gonna be 46 years. March 26th of this year to be 46 years that I had this name, Anwar Bilal Kente. Yeah, Frank, I'm on that 100%. I believe Western men should restore this honestly or fall in the Satan trap. Just my beliefs. Well, with you entitled to that. Yeah. I say everybody. Be mindful. Be respectful of God or whatever your concept of God is. Have that, because I know I do. At least I try to have that constant, vigilant respect and regard for God and what I'm doing and how I treat people, how I respond to people. I try to deal with it with, I believe, what the best of what God has particularly blessed me with. Again, yes, I have and have had serious issues with God again, why he let me go through the shit that I went through. Why did I suffer like that? I don't think I deserved it. The abuse I took from women, and on some of these jobs and other shit that I had to endure and eat, I don't think was justified. I know. Yes, it could have been worse. But what kind of shit? That's kind of a negative way to be. Oh, it could have been worse. I don't want to be talking. What kind of living is that? I like to say it could be better and let me be moving toward that. Not, I'm in the shit house, but I should be content with this shit because it could be worse. Fuck that. As you can see, I'm aggressively going again. That's another thing. I'm letting the devil, everybody have it this year on certain things, depending on how I feel or how they come to me. My point in suggesting this is because God covenant by belief should not be mocked. Yeah, God not mocked. They say whatsoever a man sow, he shall so reap. No, I tell you, no, I don't mock. At least mentally, I don't try to. I will not mock God, which is earth from the west, and God made a way for us to truly find grace in the west. Yes, there's a portion of grace, and I've seen some grace in the west. I've seen some mercy in different portions to different degrees over there. I'm going to tell you, for me personally, I found much more grace, more mercy in the Philippines, definitely more love in the Philippines. So I'm thirsty. And sometimes I have been thirsty. I would not say I'm thirsty now. I was somewhat thirsty in America, but because I had to go without for so many years, I got used to it. I just learned to cope and deal with it the best I could. I didn't enjoy it. I was mostly unhappy, pissed off. Again, felt like I was on the cross. Now I'm not thirsty here because I tell you, here, as opposed to when I was in America, and I've been here long enough to have been around this society and have been around Filipinos, I want a Filipino here. I can get one. I can get it. Ain't no about no thirst. I can go get it. Just like going to the 7-Eleven and say, I want to go get me a drink. Going to get me a drink. I can go out and get a drink here. The environment is different here. Yeah, I'm not thirsty. I ain't got to be thirsty here because satisfaction is here. Let me just say that. No, I'm not. I was thirsty. I was hungry, and I was fed not. I was thirsty, and I didn't get a drink. I was naked, and nobody gave me no clothes. I was in prison, and I was in prison, and I was not visited there. All that has flipped since I've been to the Philippines. I'm out of prison. I'm fed. I'm not thirsty, not hungry. I'm not out of doors. I got a place to be. And I have emotional and spiritual and mental security here, unlike what I had in America. In the East, I meant not the West. I need to correct this. When God blesses, they're away from the West, which I'm here. I'm away from the West. I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted at all. And believe me, my standards is my standard. And my standard number one is I'm not putting up with no bullshit from any American, any white man, Negro, nobody. I'm absolutely not taking no bullshit. That's the number one standard that I can tell you right now as far as me. And my slogan, Mr. Brown don't give a damn. And remember that shit. You don't like it, get the fuck out of my face. And I mean that in the name of Jesus. Now, don't go to the Philippines if you're thirsty because that thirst will send you down the wrong path. It can. It can send you down the wrong path. I think I was fortunate that on a personal level that God had a certain hedge of protection around me that I was able to encounter certain people in certain situations and, be navigated through that where I was not hurt or harmed. And I think that's the best thing that somebody can hope for. It's nothing wrong. Thirsty is a bad term, but I mean, if you're thirsty, you just thirsty. But definitely you should have your mind and soul and heart and everything, attitude prepared for I don't think this is a place you just get on a plane and just come over here. Now, some people do that because they have a limited scope. Some of them, you might have Pookie and Ray and Chad and Tyrone coming over here to come over here and get some of this Filipino, let me say it like this, Filipino mango over here. They want to taste some of this and then go back to the country. I don't like people like that. I think you're a piece of shit. I don't like to see you in this country. Stay your ass in America, mother. Anyway, precisely Neil Davis. The man trick of the media puts on a pinaya that creates illusions. When they're interviewed by the local native like P and Dear Ann, Dear Ann, who the hell is that? I don't know what you talking about, Dear Ann. Oh, you talking about, I don't even want to mention her name because both of them snubbed me. They always refer to the West as movie actors or sports stars. I don't know. I think they refer to the movie actors or sports stars, but I don't think the guy like me, they don't consider me no damn movie actor or sports star. I'll tell them in. Do you play basketball? Nope. Are you an actor? Nope. The images are fair to them and it's not the norm of master men from the West. Yeah, that's what I just said. I'm definitely not going to consider myself an athlete or a Hollywood star. And one of my sons said, "We don't need no Hollywood." Yeah. Yeah, creepy being 100%. Okay, whatever that was. I agree with you. Appreciation of beauty isn't necessarily lust. No. No, it isn't. Appreciate, listen, as I was saying here before, and I'm going to do a comparison, but I just hit this with you. I said before, most of the women I see here, because of the spirit in their aura, no matter whatever their age is, skin color, whatever, how they physically look on the outside, I appreciate Filipino beauty. And like I say, even say, I want to make love to just about every woman I see. I got that quote from Telly Savalas, who used to play Kojak. He said, "I want to make love to every woman I meet." I had to go research that, but that's where I got that from. But I feel more like that here. And I'm not necessarily lusting after the woman, but I definitely appreciate their beauty. That's right. Get my name right. Yeah, I'm not no, I'm not normal. I never have been normal. Since I was reading since I was the age of 2. As a baby, I was reading. No, I'm not normal. I wasn't normal. Western Black American man, because the ones I know are really thirsty when they get to the Philippines. Nope. No. I was receptive to the women. They were receptive to me. I even dated one. I arranged the first woman one of the first women I got to know here. And I talked about this. She wanted to date me. We had a date. We had a nice, very nice time. Wonderful time. I don't think I ever had a good time with a woman like that on a date in the United States, period. Except, when I had a girlfriend at the age of 20. And I'm 66 now. So count the years. Okay. Yeah. So I was lucky with that. Like I said, they've been much more receptive to me here. I mean, I'm superstar material here. And that's not being bragging or boastful or arrogant. I'm now realizing what God put in me. And here I'm able to shine. I was not able to shine in America. I was not appreciated there. I was abused. That wasn't my place. That wasn't my home. It never was my home. I put up with that shit because that's where I was. I had no control over where I was born. But once I got to the realization that, hey, I can get the hell out of America, I got the hell up out of there. And I just shared a vlog this week, my live I did about getting the hell out of America. You laughing. Oh, you laughing at. Oh, it was me or Link or whatever. I hear stories from random videos. Yeah, I mean, I want to say there may be less than 15 vloggers that I occasionally will follow or watch. Of course, Lilith F. Tate is one, definitely Joy the Jungle, Jane Ultimate Filipina, Smart Girl Philippines. Of course, I follow Calvin. There's a few others. There may be about 10 Philippine addicts. Shout out to them. I would say 15 or less than that I actually subscribe to and somewhat follow and at least try to watch their video on at least on a weekly basis. They found a white man that reminds them of a movie actor, but the thrill is gone. The fall comes, and it's the whole reality for a lot to get into. Again, I don't give a damn if they go for a white man. They didn't choose me. Like I said, I had a couple I had one in particular. I felt that two, and they're related to each other. I ain't gonna name who they are, but they're vloggers from based out of Cebu, one Toledo City, Cebu City, that I felt snubbed me for a white man. Both of them. They're both cousins, and they snubbed me in behavior of a white man, and I dropped them right after that. I lost all respect and regard for them after they did that. And then one of them messed around and got pregnant by one of the white men. He done flew the country. So, she satisfied. She got her white man, got her white baby. Enjoy it. You know what I say? MF them. Link over truly getting the North South side of comparing us to movie actors. Yeah, like I say, I'll tell you in a minute. Ain't no basketball. Michael Jordan was my brother-in-law. That's true. I'm related to some movie actors such as man, there's a couple movie actors. It'll come to me in a minute. She was the first black female Bond girl. She played in Live and Let Die. That's my cousin. Gloria Hendry. Yeah, related to her. Related to movie actors. Related to basketball star. My first cousin is Brian Russell, who was on the Utah Jazz team, who was the defender of Michael Jordan. We had the winning shot over him 2 years in a row. That's my first cousin or second cousin. So I'm related to movie actors and basketball stars, but I'm not one. Question to us Western men, just because the numbers over the West seem to be, what numbers are you talking about? Just because the numbers over in the West seem to our advantage. What numbers are you talking about that's to my advantage in the West? Did you mean the East? Clarify that. Well, should we abuse it if we get the consequences? Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I don't feel like I got no number advantage in America. Hell no. America, we judged by God for a terrible history on treatment of black people. Don't say treatment of Americans. Treatment of black people and the indigenous. I'm looking forward to that happening and seeing some of that, the fall of America, which they've been saying has been coming for some time now. Hopefully it will, but my irritation with God is he seems to be pleased to let them keep doing the shit they've been doing to us all the time and letting them get away with it. So, I mean, that's my frustration with that. I've been hearing, God's going to judge them, but he proceeded to let black genocide be perpetrated right there in my city of Chicago, where they basically done a successful genocide against black people in Chicago, Illinois. I ain't going to get into that rabbit hole. 100% agreement. I don't know what you're agreeing with. Something to think about. If we had bad luck on America due to interference, I guess, from programming, and are blessed to find a wife from the East, should this be grace for God and not take this for granted? I ain't jumping up and down for that. I wasn't programmed by the shit that went on in America. I was affected by it. It certainly made an impression on me that I had to endure for all those years. And yeah, maybe I'm blessed to meet who I've met over here, but that's because I had the consciousness to get my ass up and realize there wasn't shit for me of good in America, and I had the hell out of there. And I had enough sense to see that what I want for me and my soul is in the Philippines, and that's why I'm here. Geechee, you want to suggest some brother? The cause of the P was her not accepting you. Man, I truly understand the powerful connection you felt. However, she's made it clear. Yes, she's made it clear. On a personal level, I'm over that. I'm over that. But the closer, and I told her, the closer is not over. The closer is going to come this year with part 2 of the ministry. The ministry is in 2 parts. The first part came out in 2023, prior to me, or when I came to the Philippines, I released the ministry. Second part of the ministry, God willing, 2026. And that's when the closure is going to be, because I am closing the books on that whole ministry music project. And if it's God's will, she sees fit to be a part of that, that would be dynamic. I mean, that would be the equivalent of a tsunami, the equivalent of a typhoon, the equivalency of an earthquake, should me and P come together in a certain way. But I'm prepared for that closure, whatever. I'll leave that in the hands of God. But I'm putting the request out there. United States is so-called a Christian nation doesn't make it true. It's not true. It can have the Christian name, but is it like the Christ that we've been told about? No. And I always point this out. If I remember right, the followers of Jesus will call Christians by the enemies of Jesus, which means they will probably call Christians mockingly. They will call Christians by the enemies of Jesus. Remember that, okay? She's in the white men, and that's okay. Consider this God save for a life of heartbreak. No, well, it wouldn't have been no life of heartbreak from her. I mean, man, I would have loved to have had a shot with her. I mean, she's a musician. She's beautiful to look at, young, fresh, man, shoot. If I had a shot at that, I would have definitely taken it. But like I said, and I told y'all that on the video, we were supposed to get together, and she stood me up along with 2 of her associates. And that's part of the reason why I left Cebu. Because that pissed me off. The way they snubbed me and didn't even have the decency to call me. And she never did call me. I ended up calling John, because at least John would give me her phone number, and said, I'm like, bitch, you had to tell me you didn't come. You didn't come to like you promised. You didn't meet. Hell, you didn't even call me. You didn't even give me that respect. So, damn that. And then don't get me started with her sister, her cousin, who said I was going to be her first interview with a foreigner. Then she went and got a white man. Pissed me off. And that's me after coming all the way to the Philippines. This motherfucker, I don't know whether he came to the Philippines or not. No, oh man, I'm over that. Like I said, I look at her now, respect. Matter of fact, she's on my TikTok because I guess I must have liked her channel or something. I'm deleting that shit tonight. I don't want her popping up in my TikTok feed. Her and her white baby. Years of media has a grip on a lot of outside companies. Of course, it's an influence. When we see this kindly move on and allow us to align, well, you deal with people you say they are. Like I said, I've been pretty well received by people in the barangay, in the urban city, especially like Cebu. I was a hood rambler, and also San Carlos, and also the provincial towns of Negros and Leyte and Mindanao. Received well as a black man. I don't think I was overly stared at or nothing. I mean, people generally were friendly, spoke smiled at me, treated me friendly, everything. Woman over there that will bless my life with everything. Yes, well, that to an extent that has already happened. I've already been blessed by women here. Already been blessed. That has happened. And like I said, would I receive this type of blessing from in America? Hell no. A lot of couples are with unlocked people, but it's okay to adjourn until they figure out what it went wrong. Like I said before, out of people who got the physical piece of paper and went to the ceremony, got the marriage license, they shouldn't have never got contracted like that. They're not truly married. They just got a legal contract to get together. I was thinking the other day, you know, they have what they call gay marriage in America. And as for me, I'm cool with it because marriage in America is basically it's a business deal anyway. It's a legal business deal to govern your relationship, certain things, according to the civil law there in America, certain guidelines or what have you. So, two men can get married over there. And I'm saying like this, two men can get married. They don't even have to be gay. They don't even have to be homosexual. But they can be married to have that legal contract to deal with their property or other things that's going on. They can put themselves on each other's medical plan and stuff like that. So it's a lot to that. I don't know if you all remember this show starring William Shatner, who was Captain Kirk on Star Trek. He had a series called Boston Legal, where, of course, he was a lawyer. He was on there. It also starred James Spader. James Spader, who I believe was an actor in a movie called Stargate. And one of their last episodes, they dealt with William Shatner and the partner with James, that was played by James Spader. They were talking about, because they legalized gay marriage, they talk about getting married, and they were talking about the legal ramifications of them getting married. Of course, they were not gay. It was nothing about that. It was about the business aspect of being married, and a lot of that, these marriages, quote unquote, they're business deals. Somebody may be in it for the money. They may be in it for the show. They may be in it for the sex. They may be in it for what other benefits. But, is it a marriage in the traditional sense that we might have thought of coming up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and that back in that time? Not necessarily. And then you open up your heart, like I said. Here, it pays. It has paid off handsomely. It will pay off handsomely to you or anyone to open up your heart to people here, male or female. Don't have to be romantic. It can be business. It can be just association, friendly, associate basis. You might meet somebody if you go to church, you might see people in church who you may get to know. They might invite you over for dinner, or they may give you a ride, or refer you to a barber or another service provider, recommend to you a carpenter or plumber or a laborer or painter or something like that. And I've experienced much of that here in the Philippines, especially in Davao City, where I've made a lot of friendly, I would say a lot of friendly acquaintances here. Nowhere, almost non-existent in America. Non-existent. I'm gonna tell you, America, most of them, the average person out there with they're trash. You're goddamn trash. And I meant that shit. Cool, related to Brian Russell. Yep. I got a picture of me and him. I'll post it. Eventually I'm gonna put it on the thumbnail slideshow. Yeah, related to Brian Russell. Hopefully one day I'll meet Michael. I told you he's my brother-in-law. My brother was married to his wife Juanita's sister. And I do have pictures from that wedding of my brother marrying Juanita's sister. I'm gonna find those and post them. God rest her soul. Margaret was her name. She passed away a few years ago. She got 2 children. She had 2 children by my brother, Gerald, who's a Christian minister.